good afternoon from a very cool, wet day here in Terang, and I'm taking time out here in the dugout to talk to you about our RSL Women's Auxiliary, which was established in July of 1941. Sadly, they just disbanded in the mid-2000s. I think it was 2006 they actually disbanded. But even today, the ladies who are members of the RSL, they've certainly taken on those duties very well indeed. I'm just going to read an extract from the meeting in July of 1941. Of course, 1941, the dark years of World War II. At the opening meeting of the RSL Women's Auxiliary was held at the Mechanics Hall in Terang. As you're aware, I spoke earlier on on one of my video logs at the Terang RSL, which I'm in here at the moment. And by the way, this was the old beer storeroom, and just in front of me there was the old bar, which is of course our diggers' dugout. So of course the ladies started their meetings at Mechanics Hall, same as the men as well. As it was the first meeting, they had to elect a committee. Mrs. Eldridge occupied the chair, and there was a guest speaker from Melbourne, Mrs. Riley. Now Mrs. Riley was from Melbourne, and she was part of she was the state president of the Victorian branch. So as I said, the meeting, they spoke about various things, the opening, about what their role will be within the RSL, and their role was certainly the backbone of the Terang RSL as it is today, and all the other RSLs around Australia. Just reading through the minute book. Now these minute books, just a standard exercise book, I found them in an old case in the back of the room here at the Terang RSL. And it's interesting, I've gone through them fairly extensively, and especially during, as I said, the dark days of World War II, when the ladies had actually formed, and they talk about different functions, raising money for the war bonds, and it was a big fundraising, even in the RSL here in Terang. They did raise a lot of money towards those war bonds, the bonds, the comfort funds, and of course making packages, like care packages, for the men and women who served overseas. And interesting, in the first meeting, just going back to that, there is a note here. It says, attractive membership badges, price 1 and 6, were available, and 20 badges were sold. The annual subscription, the amount of the annual subscription, was to be fixed at the next meeting of the auxiliary. So this particular meeting, they didn't set their fees for being a member of the auxiliary, but of course in the next meeting they did. Mrs. Eldridge then thanked Mrs. Riley for making the journey from Melbourne to attend our meeting, and the meeting was then closed. That's certainly a piece of history indeed. But as I said, just going through these books, a wealth of information, just like the minute books that I rescued from the back room, which starting to get moth-ridden, but they're of course housed in a cabinet. Same with the Women's Auxiliary as well. I've actually dedicated, or we have dedicated, the new kitchen back in 2018 to the Women's Auxiliary. So you see the photo here, the new kitchen. Also, just outside of the kitchen, we've moved the memorial or honour rolls to the ladies. So this is them here, and some old photos which we found when we were curating the RSL. One in particular, there's 5 ladies there. Look, you can just see that, but I'll put it up here. These ladies here, there's notes on the back with some names, but look, another photo that come to mind is this one here. Now I will put that one up here as well, and the beauty about this particular photo, the ladies are named, so I will call out the ladies. Mrs. W. Noonan, Mrs. Maguire, Mrs. Duncan, Mrs. Danby, Mrs. S. Smith, Mrs. S. Mackenzie, May Lau, Mrs. M. Wilkinson, Mrs. E. Robertson, Mavis Reeves, Miss G. Patton, Mrs. G. Patton, Mrs. Densley, Mrs. L. Heathcliff, Mrs. K. Lee, and Mrs. B. Bethune. So these photos are proudly on display just outside the kitchen, where there is a cabinet, which you can see here, just popping up now. And of course the old kitchen, it was certainly period. It was demolished and refurbished back in 2017, ready for the 2008 opening. The interesting part of the kitchen, there is a lot of the old crockery, which we still have, even the knives and forks and the spoons, and you know, certainly great to have those here. This is one of the cups, one of the mugs here. I'll put a closer photo up here so you can see it. So this is a nice cup and saucer set and a nice little teaspoon, and they have the Terang RSL emblem on them, which is fantastic. These were obviously come out in the 1950s because they were sold by a British company, so I dare say they would have been ordered through maybe Anzac House or one of the guys who at the time the RSL had a contact. But we do have all of those, even the plates, the dinner plates, the little serving plates. So that's a little bit of a brief history about the ladies. The auxiliary still goes today, or still active today in a lot of the other RSLs. And as I said, the ladies or the members here at Terang RSL are doing a fantastic job and really have taken over that side of it. So in the future, we may re-establish the women's auxiliary here. So look, thanks again for watching. This is video log number 10. And I'll have to think about another one I can put together shortly. But before I go, things are relaxing at the moment. The isolation is slowly sort of opening up things in the area. So be safe. In time, friends, family, we'll all catch up soon, which is going to be great. Rekindle old friendships. So please take care. And just a quick one before I go, I'm actually involved with a very good friend of mine, Virginia Keogh. She has a website, loveourveterans.com.au, which is coming up here on the screen. She also has a YouTube channel, very caring, very passionate about helping our veterans. So please have a look at the website and go onto YouTube, and there is a couple of videos up there at the moment. Really great to support it. And for those who wish to subscribe, now this is a new feature, this one. Just press the button screen, and any videos that do come out, they'll come up and you'll get a notification. So with that, take care, and thank you once again for viewing Terang RSL's video logs, or the history of. Thank you.